So we dive straight into the panel. Welcome. Big thanks for joining us. It's really great to have representatives from 3 different Commission Directorates General here to explore a bit further how such a knowledge and innovation community could fit into the existing policy framework. We've heard a lot about the high-level challenges and strategies, so I think it's time to be as concrete as possible and use your expert knowledge. So I would like to start directly, dive in with the first question to you, Ms. Strachinescu. Where do you consider are the most pressing challenges, and how does the existing policy framework provide for a role where such a knowledge and innovation community can deliver added value?
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. And for sure, we were waiting for this day, because what this KIC is going to do, it's to, I would say, fill a gap and create a complete universe for the blue economy. And we are speaking blue economy because I heard the previous speakers. Let's not forget that it's everything that is related to water. We have water, marine, and maritime. First of all, we have a common fishery policy, and then we have fisheries and aquaculture. We have already a funding, European Maritime Fisheries and Aquaculture Fund, that it's supporting, mostly at the level of the member states, project in this field. But innovation is there, and it's for certain that there are opportunities to be taken there. Now, it's a matter of synergies. We know that there is already a KIC food, so it will be extremely important to see, not to step on the feet of each other, but to see what is, because the need for financing, it's extremely important. When you enter here today, probably you saw the sign Blue Invest, and it's extremely nice that we are having this info day, the same day when Blue Invest starts. So every year we are doing an annual event for Blue Invest. It's quite a young initiative. We started in 2019, but already in 5 years, we built an important community with more than 1,900 companies. We are working mostly with startups and SMEs, offering them technical assistance and also guiding the investors towards the blue economy. If we are looking a little bit what is happening in Europe, and this year's working with Blue Invest showed us, is that the investors, first of all, they have to open to blue economy. When we started doing Blue Invest, there were not so many funds dedicated to blue economy. So we have a need to direct investments towards the sectors of the blue economy, which I said there are at large, starting from fisheries and aquaculture, but going to all the sectors of water, marine, and maritime. And for sure, they were mentioned. We have the mission Restore Our Ocean and Waters. And here there are already, and yesterday we had a mission forum, there are already 67 projects running. There is innovation that is demonstrated, so opportunities to invest in. And for sure, we have also the aspect of education and the Ocean Literacy Initiative. So I think that for the new KIC, it will be extremely important to also be a binder of all of this. And as you said, looking at the blue economy, it's extremely important to try to involve as much as possible all regions of Europe. In the mission Ocean, we have a lighthouse Danube. Freshwater, it's important, and for sure that landlocked countries are also benefiting from the blue economy. So involving everybody and making blue economy an important sector in all the European Union countries.
Thank you very much. Very clear message to see the KIC as someone who can bring the whole sector together with all the different stakeholders. I would ask the next question to Ms. Balzi from DG Research and Innovation, DG RTD. Very much welcome. The new KIC will also be an institutionalized European partnership, like the other 9 KICs, like the joint undertakings, and will be added to the landscape of partnerships. Also, there are the EU missions, especially, of course, the mission on restoring our oceans and waters, and many other Horizon Europe projects and initiatives in this field. So can you also tell us from your perspective how you think such a new KIC can complement these programs, ensure it adds something in addition, some added value, and also brings new incentives or new pediments to the wider research and innovation landscape?
Thank you very much, Martin. Good morning, everybody, and I would like to congratulate you, Martin, and all the EIT team for the launching of this initiative, which is a very timely initiative. We heard it in the opening speeches of Commissioner Cadiz, how important it is now the role also of research innovation in the new policy context for ensuring the competitiveness, the stable competitiveness and the resilience of Europe. It's a key factor. We have policies that have been mentioned. I would like to add also that we have, for example, a startup and scale-up strategy, which is being prepared, an innovation act. We have, of course, the thematic policies like the Ocean Pact, the Water Resilience Strategy. We also have a life science strategy. For all this, I think the kick also with the approach that you are presenting, which is cross-cutting across disciplines, across sectors, in the hydrosphere context of connecting inland waters and the sea is key. So this is a very strategic new initiative, which indeed needs to complement the existing initiatives in the Horizon Europe program. Of course, we have a very large portfolio of projects, both on ocean and waters, and also the link between the two is very important. We have important other initiatives. The partnerships are key. Partnerships with member states. We have at least 3, which some of them have been mentioned: the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership, the Water for All, but also, for example, the PRIMA, the Research and Innovation for the Mediterranean area. Also very important, where member states and beyond, also third countries, are joining forces. So this is also a very important element of involving the national authorities and the national programs. So here also we need to integrate in this landscape, also as Andrea mentioned. We also have the mission to restore our ocean and waters, also with this approach of an integrated approach among seas, ocean and inland waters, with very important synergies there. We are in the deployment phase, so we need to engage further. We need to bring the solutions locally. We need to engage with the local communities. We need to engage with the authorities, and here it's again a key added value that the KIC can really bring. We have started in the mission, we are engaging with national authorities, we are engaging with regional authorities, we are engaging with cities. Just this afternoon we have in the parallel sessions at Charlemagne an whole afternoon dedicated exactly to regions, cities, island ports with the authorities. We need to join forces, so and this is to make the link and bring the solutions locally. So I think here there is a lot of added value that can be played by the KIC together with all the basis which is being built also through this mission. So these synergies are very, very important. And of course, the synergies then with the private sector, which is key, with a business where you need to bring really a very important added value, because we have very ambitious targets. We have very little time to reach them. So we really need to join forces. So this initiative is very, very welcome, coming in the right moment where we have to deliver a very high speed. We have built a background with all these important initiatives which are continuing, but we really need to join forces and work together. So also in all the applicants and the consortia, I think it's very important to consider very well what is happening in the other initiatives and to link and to help us to join forces to reach those very ambitious objectives, in this case of a restoration, of fighting the pollution, of a circular and regenerative blue economy in a joint effort with the authorities, with the citizens and with the private sector.
Thank you very much for placing the KIC in this policy context. I think now welcome to Mr. Perez, DG Environment. To be here, we can dive a bit deeper into the freshwater area, and would be very curious to want to hear from you where you see most challenges there, especially with the upcoming water resilience strategy. So what sort of strategic priorities do you think a KIC should have in this area, once again, to complement other initiatives?
Thank you very much, Martin. Good morning to everyone. I'm very pleased to be here. Indeed, I think the launch of the KIC is coming at a very crucial time for us in the development of the water resilience strategy. I will start by mentioning a few key points to frame what we mean with water resilience, because it might not be obvious for everyone. When you look at what President von der Leyen announced in her political guidelines and the mission letter for Commissioner Roswell, it's very clear that we are talking about a very comprehensive agenda. So not purely an environmental agenda, but really an ambition to define a pathway to make Europe water resilient by 2050 by covering quantity and quality issues at the same time, so dealing with too much water, too little water, water that is too polluted for making the most out of it. And you've probably seen the outcome of the recent reports and assessment made by the Commission and by the European Environment Agencies, which really show the scale of the problem. The second point I wanted to make is that it is going to be largely an enabling agenda. This is not about necessarily setting new targets or legislation, but it's about making sure that we actually make concrete progress on the ground towards reaching those objectives. And from this point of view, the issue of research, innovation, skills, investments in general is going to play a central role as part of the strategy. So we see the KIC and its future activities as a key ingredient, let's say, of the mix, as a key contribution to the strategy, with the potential to contribute to all its expected main goals and outcomes. On the one hand, we certainly need to do much more to deal to protect and restore the water cycle. So there is a big agenda when it comes to water quality and pollution. And what can EU companies, for instance, researchers, SMEs do to better prevent and tackle pollution, including through decontamination. And if we think about just PFAS alone, that's a big agenda. And even if we don't mention other priority substances we are facing. But there is also the link with the nature restoration and how to better take care of our environment, how to better anticipate and adapt to water-related risks, which are definitely on the rise in the light of climate change. There is also the big chapter of the way we use water. So I think water efficiency was mentioned already by a previous speaker. This is going to be the next big thing when it comes to water management in the EU. The Commission is likely to make a recommendation to Member States on the application of the water efficiency first principle. This will need to be translated operationally into policy making, but also in technologies, in innovation across sectors. Agriculture, energy, industry, and so on and so forth. So huge potential there, and to deliver on this, we will also need skills, which in the water sector are very much in high demand across several profiles. Think digitalization, which is an area where the water sector is definitely lagging behind. As compared to others, but there are also even basic engineering and chemicals is something that is an increasing challenge for member states and also for companies. One final point on my side, just to mention that in this whole agenda, the role of SMEs is going to be particularly crucial because SMEs actually make 98% of the water industry in Europe. So we really need to make sure that we can support them better towards scaling up and deploying technologies which often are already there.
Thank you very much, all three of you. I think we settled that the KIC will fit well into the policy landscape. You explained also very well all the other key initiatives, stakeholder policy objectives, but also that it's very timely, very urgent. Now, if we look at the perspective of the applicants, the consortia that are forming, of course, will probably not be enough to say we will be complementary and create synergies with all the other initiatives, because in the end, the most attractive proposal will be the one which identifies the strongest innovation potential and is also concrete on where actually very, very concretely it can make a difference. So I would like to ask all three of you one by one to be as concrete as possible. Where do you see, either through your role in your DG or through your wider knowledge, what critical capabilities, technologies, innovations may be needed in your field to make a difference? Could I again take the same order?
Yes, thank you very much. So if we look a little bit at the broad spectrum of the blue economy, but also the challenges that currently we have, I will start probably with the knowledge, the marine knowledge, marine data. The knowledge is coming through observation. So indeed, currently we have a need for more observation technologies, for also treatment of data coming from the observation. It's a part of the blue economy that has, I would say, a double role. It's not only about observing the ocean in order to know how we are going to make use of the ocean in a sustainable way. It also had the part related with the security angle. So more and more there is a need for this, and we see that there is also the interest of the investors. It has very good perspective, and Europe has already some companies already moving in this direction. On Friday, we are going morning to have here a session on marine knowledge. So if you want to hear more and to see a little bit what are the technologies and maybe the perspective for investment as well, we have this session. So ocean observation technologies, marine data, this is probably one of the sectors. Then everything which is related to the blue biotechnologies. Ocean has a lot of resources that can offer us for various sectors. Either we are speaking pharmaceutical, food, cosmetics, and also other parts of the blue economy. They can be raw materials, replacing some chemicals. So the huge potential of the blue biotechnologies. Why I'm saying this? Because for sure it's about innovation, it's about bringing together education, research, industry. But what is extremely important as well, as you said, Martin, is that after 15 years they can be self-sustainable. So it's important as well to invest in the sector that bring the revenues for them that are needed to reinvest. So they have to create the capital that allow them to grow. So probably as first move, I would say ocean observation and blue biotechnologies.
Thank you for being very concrete, and of course my colleagues will explain more about that financial sustainability model, which is unique to the EIT later on. You're absolutely right, Elisabetta.
Thank you. And indeed, I think I'm between, I think Andrea already expressed very well what can be the technology for the marine part, and I'm sure Luca already anticipated for the water. So I would maybe highlight that also the interface between the ocean, the marine, and the inland waters. All those, that interface which makes actually the hydrosphere, the system, we want to approach it as a system. So I would, without naming maybe technology, but I would highlight and focus on the importance of also addressing this as a system at the interface between inland and ocean and seas. I would also highlight in general the concept of resilience, so all what can increase the resilience of the coastal community, or also the inland waters area, which are so heavily affected now by climate change. So all the extreme events, all the technologies we need, really very quickly, all possible technology which will allow the measures which for preparedness also to face this crisis. And I would say also to build on the existing technologies, because we are producing really, we have a huge amount of technologies and innovation, which is not only technological, it's also social innovation or governance innovation. So not only, technology readiness levels very high, but also we have a social innovation, we have a governance innovation. So also to consider it as a system. And the resilience, I think, is a very important element. The restoration and the regenerative blue economy, it's also a very important concept. So all what can help us to progress quickly, also based on what is existing, the solutions which are provided by the existing program and the existing portfolio. Yes, I think, and maybe the last point I would like to mention is also security. Security is also becoming an increasingly important aspect for our waters, for our ocean. Andrea mentioned the data and the digital knowledge, which is also key. I think this is key, and we need more on that. So solutions, building on what is existing and helping us reaching faster the goals.
Thank you. Luca, you go straight.
Yep, I can subscribe to both what Andrea and Elisabetta said. Indeed, also from a purely freshwater perspective, the issue of knowledge remains extremely important. With something to consider, the fact that water is by far one of the most understood natural resources. If you compare it to energy, we have so little knowledge about how we use water, who is using it, who is taking it from the ecosystem, how is it being used, where it ends up. So there is definitely a huge chapter of better controlling this resource, especially given its strategic importance. And there is a lot that can be done in terms of developing solutions to enable public authorities, the private sector, citizens even, to better understand how the resource is being used. So digitalization, of course, I already mentioned as one of these opportunities, from Earth observation to artificial intelligence, to digital twins of system, including for the public supply network, smart sensor meters, smart meters that can help public authorities better control groundwaters, just to make a very concrete example. Efficiency, I already mentioned. Water reuse or recycling is certainly a big area where we would expect a big upscaling in the future. This will need to be done compatibly with sustainability requirements, but there is going to be a huge demand in industry, for instance, also in the light of new requirements that will come into force with the new industrial emission directive, creating huge opportunities there and a huge demand. Agriculture, where we will also need not only traditional irrigation efficiency, but actually looking at upstream solution in terms of how we can redesign systems in agriculture to prevent water or reduce water demand in the first place. So continuing investment in biotechnology as well, in adapted crop varieties, et cetera, et cetera. Skills I've already mentioned, and definitely the issue of scaling up and deploying the solutions, which clearly demands also for social and governance innovation. New business models, I think, will also be particularly important.
Thank you very much. Do you want to add something or no?
Maybe just on this scale up, because I'm just building on the conclusion of a forum that we are having with our communities of mission, the scaling up and scaling down. And I think here applies very much also to the KIC. So we need to scale up, but we also need to scale down in the sense that we need to bring the solutions locally and with a participatory approaches indeed that I also wanted to mention, which is also key here. So with this, I wanted just to
thank you very much. Thank you, Luca. Thank you, Elisabetta. Thank you, Andrea. It was great to share your insights. Of course, a very long list of innovation potential, innovation need in the sectors. It's now for the applicants, because the KIC is also a bottom-up initiative to say where within those different areas they can really deliver the innovation that is needed, and to, of course, express this in their applications and make hopefully a strong impact on the sector and deliver some, if not all, of those long list of policy priorities. Thank you very much.